morning, everyone. Welcome to our 33rd regular session dated August 17, 2020 of the 8th City Council. Will now call to order. May I request Honorable Blase Enad to lead the prayer, to be followed by the Philippine National Anthem and the recitation of the Councilor's Creed.
Let's put ourselves in the presence of God and in the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty God, we stand in your holy presence as our supreme judge. We humbly beseech you to bless and inspire us so that what we think, say, and do will be in accordance with your will. Enlighten our minds, strengthen our spirit, and fill our hearts with fraternal love, wisdom, and understanding, so that we can become effective channels of truth, justice, and peace. In our proceedings today, guide us in the path of righteousness for the fulfillment of your greater glory. Amen. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisiil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
I am a Philippine councilor, mandated by law to enact measures and ordinances that redound the general welfare of my constituents in their pursuit for happiness, peace, and prosperity. I believe in public service above self as a guiding principle of my official acts, and as I tread the pathways of local legislation, may the Almighty guide my mind and heart that shall be true to my constituents and to the Filipino people.
Once again, good morning everyone, and welcome to our 33rd regular session, dated August 17, 2020. At this point in time, may I request our Secretary, Ma'am Lorlyn Veralio, to please do the roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. And again, good morning to each and everyone. Welcome to the 33rd regular session of the 8th City Council dated August 17, 2020. This is now the roll call of attendance. Honorable John Ray G. Gavina, City Vice Mayor. He is on special leave. Honorable Jano Paulo P. Hinteles.
Present.
Present. Honorable Gregorio U. Duhali III, MP, MDMG.
Present.
Present. Honorable Attorney Divona Itsumamil. Present. Honorable Emeterio E. Blase. Present. Honorable Flopon Royal A. Catalan. Present. Honorable Attorney Wendell A. Maynard. Present. Honorable Emmanuel G. Pamisaran. Present. Honorable Dizon P. Namuag, MBA. Is not yet around. Honorable Renante F. Bangoy. Present. Honorable Wahid B. Ranain. Present. Honorable Conrad Tudor A. Matutino. Is not yet around. Honorable Dato Rodrigo A. Ambasan. Present. And Honorable Danica Laika M. Carisma. Present. There are 12 in attendance, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Lorlyn. Once again, good morning to each and everyone. Considering that our regular presiding officer is not around, and it is stipulated in our internal rules of procedure and procedure. It states that in the event of the inability of the regular presiding officer and the presiding officer pro tempore to preside over the Sangguniang session, members present, thereby constituting a quorum, shall elect from among themselves a temporary presiding officer. And so, with this, may I hear a nomination from the body? Honorable Duhali is recognized.
Honorable Presiding Officer, due to the rule number section 7 of our subsection A of our House rules, with due respect, I would like to respectfully nominate Honorable Emeterio Blase to be our temporary presiding officer.
Honorable Blase is nominated.
Honorable Pamizaran is raising his hand. Yeah, we gonna vote.
Honorable Blase is recognized by the
All right,
chair.
sorry.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to nominate Honorable Jano Hintelis.
No. First, I raise. Let us first resolve my.
Okay,
first
Mr.
nomination.
Okay, Honorable Duhali. Honorable Pamisaran is recognized by the chair.
Mr. Chair, since there is a nomination, I move to close the nomination.
There was a motion made by Honorable Pamisaran to close the nomination. Therefore, even though there is only one who is nominated, we should vote for this matter. May I request Ma'am Veralio to please count?
Thank you, Mr. President. In favor for the nomination of Honorable Blasi as the temporary presiding officer, may I see your hands? Honorable Duhali, Honorable Attorney Enad, Honorable Humamil, Honorable Ranain, Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Catalan, Honorable Danica Laika M. Karisma, Honorable Dato Ambasan. 9 voted, Mr. President, for Honorable Blase.
How about the others, ma'am?
Up.
Honorable Blase? No.
Yeah.
9 against
4,
1.
6, 8.
Okay. So 9 voted affirmatively to the nomination of Honorable Emeterio Blase as the temporary presiding officer. A minute of recess declared by the chair.
Session resume.
All right, Honorable Presiding Officer, may I? Honorable
Go ahead.
Presiding-
Go ahead, Honorable Duhali.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. At this juncture, I would like to relinquish my position as the floor leader to my Vice Chair, Honorable Wendell Inat, due to right now I am experiencing a tormenting stomach ache. Now, therefore, Honorable Chair, let me pass. No. It's a matter of resolution. But anyways, I would like to relinquish my position. Okay. So move, Honorable Presiding Officer.
Moved by Honorable Banjing Duhali. Any second? Second by Honorable Humamil, Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Ranain. Any comments? Suggestions? Objections? Hearing none. Motion is hereby duly carried. It approved. Go ahead, Honorable Inad.
Beforehand, Mr. Presiding Officer, I would like to express my utmost gratitude for nominating me as the majority floor leader. It has been a great honor, Mr. Presiding Officer. Again, good morning to each and every one. Welcome to the 32nd regular session of the 8th City Council. Before anything else, Mr. President, 33rd regular session. I stand corrected, Mr. President. Before Mr. President, please acknowledge the presence of our...
Before that, I would like to acknowledge Honorable Namag.
Again, Mr. President, please allow this humble representation to pass a resolution dispensing the reading of the Journal of the Minutes of the 32nd regular session of the 8th City Council. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Enad, duly seconded by Honorable Ambasan. Any comment, suggestions, objection, hearing none, motion is hereby duly carried and approved.
Another motion, Mr. President, approving the journal and minutes of the 32nd regular session of the 8th City Council. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Enad, the approval of the journal and minutes of the 33rd regular session, 32nd regular session of the 8th City Council dated August 10, 2020. Moved by, seconded by Honorable Catalan, Honorable Hitilis. Any objections? Comments, hearing none, motion is hereby duly carried and approved.
We are now on the privilege hour, Mr. President. We have two privilege speech. First to be availed of by Honorable Emmanuel G. Pamisaran.
Honorable Emmanuel G. Pamisaran is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, and to our Majority Floor Leader. Please accept my warm felicitations and courtesies to you fellow members of this HCT Council, our Sangguniang Secretariat, our Facebook followers, guests, the media friends, and televiewers. Madagayaong buntag kanatong tanan. Looking into the impacts of the COVID-19 crisis on societies, economies, and vulnerable groups is fundamental to inform and tailor the response of the government, as well as ensure that no one is left behind in these efforts. But before I get deeper into the issue and that I would like to raise, may I indulge this honorable chamber to focus on the screen and read this post from Facebook coming from one of our constituents. I would like to request our cameraman, please, to capture this. Also for the benefit of our listeners, let me read this post as is. Pa-shout out ko sa mga timbangan diha sa Panabo Public Market B. Mo ni inyuhang 2 ka kilo, may pasiguro magdalamig among timbangan ani. With photo, kindly take emphasis to the photo. Nabiktima pud ko sa mga timbangan ani nila, palihog pud daw maaksyonan unta ni sa City Hall o Panabo. Kay luoy kaayo ang mamalitay ani. Barato ra pero sa timbangan pud mi igod. Mr. President, to get better understanding of this issue, I initiated to do some more probing. And here is what I learned. Please refer to the screen again. This is a reply from one of my queries to the concerned office involved. I will not divulge the identity of my resource person, but I assure this chamber that we can invite them anytime. Accordingly, ingon siya, usa sa mga empleyado, yes, cons, much better gyud kaysa tinuod lang, sobra na kaayo ning mga tindira dinhi. Na nami trumpa dinha nga gibutang, every 3 p.m. nag-announce me every day sa mga bawal. Kanunay namo nabalik-balikon ng timbangan, pagbutang og mga colored cellophane sa mga bulbs, pagbutang og dugo sa mga hasang ug uban pa. Mr. Chair and my esteemed colleagues, it is in this premise that I raise this very disturbing concern. Let us remember that Republic Act number 7394, otherwise known as the Consumer Act of the Philippines, provides in Article 2 that it is the policy of the state to protect the interests of the consumer, promote his general welfare, and to establish the standards of conduct for business and industry. In Chapter 2 of this Republic Act provides that the regulation of practices relative to weights and measures for consumer and consumer-related transaction. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the tampering of weighing scale is tantamount to oppression in an act of evil. More so during these trying times when every centavo means an extension of surviving each day. Sa panahon sa pandemya nga ang tanan nagatubang sa walay kasiguruhan ug tumang kalisod, dili na ko madawat sa akong konsensya nga piyungan na lang ang pagpanika sa pipila ug abusuhon ang kadaghanan. It is our duty as a public servants to stop and eliminate illegal skills in our market and protect the buying public from being cheated. We need to establish an honest and fair environment in our marketplace. Mr. President, the promotion of honesty in our public markets, while at the same time discouraging dishonest merchants from committing any irregularities and fraudulent practices, is an advocacy that I feel everyone deserves. Let us all remember that surviving in these troubled times is no excuse to take advantage of the situation. Doing so many increase the profit in the meantime, but eventually bring course in downfall in the end. Mr. Chair, the monitoring of these weighing scales is lodged in the Treasurer's office. They have the trained personnel who do inspections, sealings, and calibrations. I believe there is a need to invite representatives from the Treasurer's Office, Market Operation, and Market Association for a committee hearing in aid of legislation, for us to be guided properly in our decision-making, in crafting of any measures that will address this matter. Therefore, Mr. Chair, and the indulgence of my colleagues in this humble chamber, allow me to propose a measure referring to the committee the reported anomalies in the marketplace involving fraudulent weighing scales and illegal practices for proper sanggunian inquiry. Sa kanunay, atong tipik o kabahin sa kalambuan, again, maayong adlaw ka natong tanan.
Thank you, Honorable Pamisaran. Honorable Inad, go ahead.
Beforehand, Mr. President, please do acknowledge the presence of Honorable Bobot Matutino.
Would like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Conrad Chidor Matutino. Privilege speech of Honorable Pamisaran will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. Go ahead, Honorable Inad.
This time, Mr. President, please do acknowledge to give his privileged speech the great Honorable Gregorio U. Duhali III.
Honorable Gregorio Duhali III, MPA, MDMG, you are now recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. To our Presiding Officer, members of this team chamber, the Secretariat, televiewers, kanatong tanan, usa ka mainit o gawas nung buntag. Our life is not an accident. Even before the universe was created, God had you and me in mind. And He planned for us for His purpose. This purpose will extend far beyond the few years we will spend on earth. We were made to last forever. In the book of Romans, chapter 14, verse 18 says, and I quote, "If we live, we'll live for the Lord. And if we die for the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord." The fact that we live to the Lord means that our choices must be made for His honor and service of His agenda. In this context, that includes our choices about whether to eat meat or observe special days. More than that, it should include all the choices we make in this life. If we die to the Lord, It really means not only that we die in God's perfect timing, but also that we will continue to belong to the Lord after we die and enter eternity. We will ever and always belong to the Lord. Understanding that should impact how we view every choice we make. Our most respected presiding officer, presiding pro tempore, Honorable Emiterio Blase, my vibrant colleagues in this August chamber, the Secretariat, my co-workers in the government, ladies and gentlemen, once again, usa ka mainit o gawas nung buntag kanatong tanan. We often say that the hour of death cannot be forecast. When we say this, we imagine this hour would be in a distant future. We never thought we would be thinking about the former Mayor James as a memory. Yes, it came a little soon. He did his best to prepare for us for his passing. However, it still came as a shock and still feels a bit of unreal. We all have different memories of Mayor Bingoy, but one thing they all have in common is the way we love and live for his family, friends, co-workers, and especially to the Panabuans. If it still remains fresh in our minds, the charitable descriptions of the sense of judgment by this man as a noble man, and I quote, especially for his role in helping Panabuans in one way or the other, is the serious dilemma, particularly in bringing government and basic services to a far-flung barangay. The people of Panabo mourned with his extraordinary life of a remarkable man who devoted his life professionally and religiously to the Panabuans for 25 years. He served as barangay chairman of Barangay San Francisco from 1994 to 1998. He ran for municipal councilor then to our then municipality of Panabo and won in 1998 up to 2001. He became a member of the first and up to third city council, 2001 to 2007, when the LGU Panabo became a component city of the Davao del Norte by the virtue of Republic Act 9015 and ratified by the plebiscite on March 31, 2001. He lifted the level of legislation when he was the vice mayor of the 4th and 6th City Council, which paved the way for several marked legislation that opened the gate in fighting against poverty, socio-economic development, peace and order, health, education, sports development, and public infrastructure, such as Panabo City Flyover, Farm to Market Road, and etc. Mayor James assumed office as a city mayor when the late Mayor Jose Salvosa died in 2015 by virtue of the rules of succession as provided under the Section 44 of and 45 of the RA 7160 of the Local Government Code of 1991. He was then elected as a city mayor from 2016 to 2019. He carved his name on our hearts, not on tombstone. The legacy which etched into the minds of others and the story they shared about him. Mayor Bingoy indeed left an indelible mark in our hearts, minds, and in the annals of Panabo's political history. Through his animated service caravan called the Welfare, Health, Education, and Employment, or the so-called WAPI, he had dutifully brought an outstanding design of avenue for the delivery of the basic services to the poorest of the poor and city, especially in the rural areas. His notable expertise and wisdom had fronted for the realization and implementation of local infrastructure projects such as construction of several classrooms, multi-purpose buildings, construction of potable water system, and different barangays made reality so-called public service partnership, establishment of local fishport, acquisition of various brand new heavy equipment in the city's development project, establishment of the city sanitary landfill, construction of legislative building, upgrading city tourism, cultural center, beautification of parks and plaza, construction and several farm to market roads. Muna karon nato nakita sa mga kabarangayan. Gikan pa na kanedto na nasaminto na jud karon. Perhaps I could not remember other things our good friend and kind former city mayor had tangibly accomplished. On that note, his name will be certainly written in the book of history of Panabo finest public servant. He will live on and become an inspiration of the next generation. Let his good works and kindness be a symbol of ideals and legacy of his prodigious political kind figure, as reminder of a necessity to fight poverty and equality. Some people may watch history. Some people made history, but our beloved former Mayor Gamau, I would say, he made history, and through his life and contribution of the city of Panabo. We are so privileged to have worked with such amazing strong man who had such deep care about his beloved city. Mayor James thought as strong values and importance of working together tightly as a team, tolerance towards another, generosity and tolerance towards one another's weaknesses. He was a willful and dynamic man. He had a vision and ability to make things happen, often for the benefit of his people, the Panabuan, I mean. He was a man whom we love in all devotion. He was the man whom we honored with all the gift of our command. We shall pay formal tribute to his mortal remains. Our city and city of Panabo enshrined him as a champion on the altars of love and gratitude. The passing of the former Mayor James Gamau is the will of God, and there is a human thigh that has been broken, which bled the hearts in agony and pain. We are encouraged and consoled in the words of Jesus, who said, and I quote, "I will never leave thee nor forsake thee," and I quote. I believe that Sir James is now with what God had promised, that he prepared a place for us, for those who believe and trust in him, in John chapter 14, verse 1 and 2. And what Jesus said at the cross, and I quote, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise," and I quote. Now death has done all that death can do. And as Mayor James goes his way, we are left with a joyful hope we shared in his last year. He saw us through a glass darkly. Now he sees his Savior face to face, and we look for that fine day when we will see him again. All weariness gone, clear of mind, strong and sure, smiling again, and the sorrow of departing gone forever. In honor of his precious legacy, one of the great contributors of the and architect of development for being of what has been the city of Panabo today, I know, and I quote, "Thank you so much, and God bless you, former Mayor James Gabriel Gamao, and the city he dearly loved." In the book of Philippians, chapter 1, verse 21, that says, and I quote, "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain," and I quote. Believers at death shall gain the glorious sight of God. To die with the Lord is a gain. As He will be the new stage in the progress and union with Christ in heaven. The whole family of Gamao, especially Jeremiah, the cradle son of the late former mayor, we know your loss is deep and sorrow is great, but we want you to know that we share in your sorrow. Words alone cannot heal your pain and distress, and yet I want to draw comfort to the family through the words of our Lord. In Revelation chapter 21, verse 4, which says, and I quote, "And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain. For the former things are passed away," and I quote. In the book of John chapter 14, verse 1, and I quote, "Let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me," and I quote. "Thus, I firmly believe that in God's divine wisdom, He has called a home former Mayor James G. Gamao to dwell with him in the glory of heaven." Finally, let me close with a quote from an unknown author, and I quote, "A great leader will deflect credit to his people. A bad leader will look to take the credit," and I quote. Former Mayor James Gama was definitely the former category. Even on the last message to us, he said, working us with his greatest joy outside of his family. On that note, Honorable Presiding Officer and my colleagues of this esteemed chamber, at this point, please allow this humble representation, be it included in an assigned business, to pass a legislative measure under the unassigned business, extending heartfelt condolences and sincere sympathy to the bereaved family, the late former Mayor James Gabriel Gamao, and expressing posthumous commendation for his legacy, integrity, and exemplary performance for his excellent public service. That's all, Honorable Presiding Officer. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Honorable Dohali. Your proposed motion will be tackled under the unassigned business. Go ahead, Honorable Inad.
Mr. President, since no one would like to avail the question hour, please do acknowledge Ma'am Laurelyn Viralio, our SP Secretary, for the reading and referral of the proposed measures.
Madam Lorlyn Viralio is now recognized by the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. For the reading and referral of proposed measures, we have none under proposed ordinance and proposed resolution. And we have 9 calendared items under petitions, requests, and other communications. C.1, endorsement from Prosper D. Dahalos Jr., the local disaster risk reduction management officer 4, dated August 7, 2020, forwarding the Barangay Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Financial Plan for calendar year 2020 of Barangay Q2, Panabo City, amounting to 151,434 pesos and 45 cents for confirmation.
C.5 to be referred to the Committee on Barangay Affairs. Excuse, I stand corrected. C.1 to be referred to the Committee on Barangay Affairs.
C.2, Appropriation Ordinance Number 1, Series of 2019, embodying the calendar year 2020 annual budget of Barangay San Vicente, amounting to 13,432,638 pesos.
C.2 to be referred to the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
C.3, letter from Jose E. Relampago, City Mayor, dated August 7, 2020, endorsing the request for augmentation of appropriation in the amount of 320,000 pesos of the City Treasurer's Office.
C.3 to be referred to the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
C.4, letter again from Jose E. Relampago, City Mayor, dated August 7, 2020, endorsing the request for augmentation of appropriation in the amount of 160,000 pesos of the Panabo City Investment Promotion Center of the City Administrator's Office.
C.4 to be referred to the Committee on Finance and Appropriations.
C.5, letter again from Jose E. Relampago, City Mayor, dated August 7, 2020, endorsing the request for augmentation of appropriation in the amount of 33,500 pesos of the Communicable and Non-Communicable Disease Control Program of the City Health Office.
C.5 to be referred to the Committee on Finance and Appropriation.
C.6, another letter from Jose E. Relampago, City Mayor, dated August 12, 2020, endorsing the request for augmentation of appropriation in the amount of 90,000 pesos of the Communicable and Non-Communicable Diseases Control Program of the City Health Office.
C.6 to be referred to the Committee on Finance and Appropriation.
C.7, another letter from Jose E. Relampago, City Mayor, dated August 11, 2020, endorsing the request for augmentation of appropriation in the amount of 65,762 pesos of the Panabo Outpatient and Safe Birthing Facility Operations of the City Health Office.
C.7 to be referred to the Committee on Finance and Appropriation.
C.8, another letter from Jose E. Relampago, City Mayor, dated August 12, 2020, endorsing the request for augmentation of appropriation in the amount of 243,600 pesos only of the Population Management Program of the City Health Office.
C.8 to be referred to the Committee on Finance and Appropriation.
C.9, letter from Jose E. Relampago, City Mayor, dated August 13, 2020, endorsing the following items for legislative action, certified urgent. Item A, Local Finance Committee Resolution Numbers 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Local Finance Committee Resolution Numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Series of 2020 for declaration of savings and be made available as source of fund for supplemental budget number 4, series of 2020. LFC Resolution number 5, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund, particularly from the Sangguniang Panglungsod Office continuing appropriation capital outlays for calendar year 2017, calendar year 2018, and calendar year 2019 in the amount of 442,000 pesos. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. A.2, LFC Resolution number 6, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund, particularly from the Personal Services of the City Administrator's Office, in the amount of 356,112 pesos and 8 cents. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. A.3, LFC Resolution Number 7, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund, particularly from the Personal Services, Salaries and Wages, regular savings from vacant funded positions of various offices, January to March 2020 in the amount of 3,903,839 pesos, and the same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. LFC Resolution Number 8, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund from locally funded projects of the City Mayor's Office, particularly from COVID-19 PPAs under Bayanihan Grant to cities and municipalities, capital outlay, medical equipment in the amount of 3,472,500 pesos. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. LFC 8.5, LFC Resolution Number 9, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund from locally funded projects of the City Mayor's Office, particularly from Livelihood Program, in the amount of 3 million pesos. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. 8.6, LFC Resolution Number 10, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund special lump sum appropriation of the City Mayor's Office, particularly from aid to barangays, continuing appropriation for calendar year 2015, calendar year 2016, calendar year 2017, calendar year 2018, and calendar year 2019 in the amount of 360,000 pesos. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. 8.7, LFC Resolution Number 11, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund maintenance and other operating expenses, other MOE of the City Mayor's Office, particularly from Araw ng Panabo celebration, in Araw ng Panabo celebration, Binibining Panabo, in the amount of 5,050,000 pesos. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. 8.8, LFC Resolution Number 12, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund, capital outlays, continuing appropriations, calendar year 2016, calendar year 2017, calendar year 2018, from the City Mayor's Office, City Budget Office, City Accounting Office, and City Health Office in the amount of 2,191,816 pesos and 80 centavos. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. 8.9, LFC Resolution Number 13, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund locally funded projects continuing appropriation, calendar year 2016, calendar year 2017, calendar year 2018, from the City Environment and Natural Resources Office and City Engineering Office, various completed projects in the amount of 1,843,497 pesos and 5 cents. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. 8.10, LFC Resolution Number 14, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under General Fund 20% Development Fund continuing appropriation, calendar year 2016, 2017, and calendar year 2018 from City Mayor's Office, City Environment and Natural Resources Office, and City Engineering Office, various completed projects in the amount of 6,980,787 pesos and 38 cents. The same amount be reverted to unappropriated balance. A.11, LFC Resolution Number 15, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under Economic Enterprise Fund, Market Operations, Continuing Appropriation, Calendar Year 2014, Calendar Year 2015, Calendar Year 2016, Calendar Year 2017, Calendar Year 2018, and Calendar Year 2019 from various CDRRM fund, maintenance and other operating expenses, capital outlays, and locally funded projects in the amount of 8,126,001 peso, and the same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. A.12, LFC Resolution Number 16, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under Economic Enterprise Fund, Slaughterhouse Operations, Continuing Appropriations, Calendar Year 2015, Calendar Year 2016, Calendar Year 2017, Calendar Year 2018, and Calendar Year 2019 from various CDRRM fund, maintenance, and other operating expenses and capital outlays in the amount of 904,343 pesos and 64 cents. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. A.13, LFC Resolution Number 17, requesting the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under Economic Enterprise Fund, Terminal Operations, Continuing Appropriation, Calendar Year 2014, Calendar Year 2015, Calendar Year 2016, Calendar Year 2018, and Calendar Year 2019 from various CDRRM fund, maintenance, and other operating expenses, capital outlays, and locally funded projects in the amount of 4,357,281 pesos and 85 cents. The same amount be reverted to unappropriated balance. And A.14, LFC Resolution Number 18, requesting again the Sangguniang Panglungsod to declare as savings under Economic Enterprise Fund, Cemetery Operations, Continuing Appropriations, Calendar Year 2015, Calendar Year 2016, Calendar Year 2018, and Calendar Year 2019 from various CDRRM fund, maintenance, and other operating expenses, capital outlays, and locally funded projects in the amount of 1,765,394 pesos and 93 cents. The same amount be reverted to an appropriated balance. In item B, supplemental budget number 4 for authorization of the proposed appropriation for fiscal year 2020 general fund amounting to 152,025,042 pesos and 31 cents. Economic Enterprise Fund Market Operation amounting to 14,610,252 pesos. Economic Enterprise Fund Slaughterhouse Operations amounting to 1,304,000 pesos. Economic Enterprise Fund Terminal Operation amounting to 2,049,250 pesos. And Economic Enterprise Fund Cemetery Operations amounting to 4,638,938 pesos and 35 cents.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. This committee, C.9 to be referred to the Committee on Finance and Appropriation. Go ahead, Honorable Inad.
Okay, Mr. President, we are now on the committee reports. This time, would like to pass resolution dispensing the reading of the 10 committee reports. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Enad, duly seconded by Honorable Duhali. Any comments, amendments, objections? Hearing none. A motion for the dispensing of reading of the 10 committee reports is hereby duly carried and approved.
To deliver committee report number 72, Series 2020, Committee on Finance and Appropriation, kindly do acknowledge, Mr. President, the great Wahid Ranain.
Honorable Wahid Renain is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you also, Mr. Floor Leader. Good morning to the members of the 8th City Council. Mr. President, I would like to pass an omnibus resolution adopting Committee Report number 72, Series of 2020, the Committee on Finance and Appropriation. Regarding Sangguniang Kabataan, Resolution number 5, Series of 2019 of Barangay Katipunan, approving the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Katipunan, Panabo City, amounting to 471,043 pesos and 10 centavos. Report number 73 regarding Sangguniang Kabataan, Resolution number 6, Series of 2019 of Barangay Little Panay, approving the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Little Panay, Panabo City, amounting to 358,000. Report number 74 regarding Sangguniang Kabataan, Resolution number 5, Series of 2019 of Barangay San Nicolas, approving the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay San Nicolas, Panabo City, amounting to 465,457 pesos and 99 centavos. Report number 75, Series of 2020 regarding Sangguniang Kabataan, Resolution number 7, Series of 2019 of Barangay Dato Abdul, approving the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Dato Abdul, Panabo City, amounting to 763,958 pesos and 53 centavos. And report number 76 regarding Sangguniang Kabataan, Resolution number 4, Series of 2019 of Barangay New Visayas, approving the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay New Visayas, Panabo City, amounting to 2,732,436 pesos and 14 centavos. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Wahid Renain, duly seconded by Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Karisma, Honorable Matutino, and Honorable Ambasan.
Period of debate and interpellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
I move to close the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now closed.
It's your time.
Motion is duly carried and approved.
To deliver committee report number 77, Series 2020, again, kindly do acknowledge Honorable Wahid Biranay.
Honorable Wahid Renain is now recognized.
Thank you again, Mr. President. I move to pass a resolution adopting Committee Report number 77, Series of 2020, the Committee on Finance and Appropriation, regarding Appropriation Ordinance number 1, Series of 2020, embodying the calendar year 2020 supplemental budget number 1 of Barangay Kauswagan, amounting to 63,900 pesos. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Wahid Renain, duly seconded by Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Karisma, Honorable Matutino, and Honorable Amuag.
Period of debate interpellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Again, nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
I move to close the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now closed. Any objections? From the floor, hearing none, the motion of Honorable Wahid Renain is duly carried and approved.
Again, to deliver committee report number 78, Series 2020. Again, the Great Honorable B9. Kindly do acknowledge, Mr. President.
Again, Honorable Wahid Ranain is now recognized.
Thank you again, Mr. President, Mr. Floor Leader. I move to pass a resolution adopting Committee Report Number 78, Series of 2020, Committee on Finance and Appropriation regarding Appropriation Ordinance Number 1, Series of 2019, embodying the calendar year 2020 annual budget of Barangay New Malitbog, amounting to 6,197,455 pesos. I so move, Mr. President.
Just been moved by Honorable Wahid Ranain, duly seconded by Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Damag, and Honorable Ambasan, and Honorable Matutino.
Period of debate and appellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
I move to close the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now closed. Any objections, amendments? Hearing none, motion is hereby duly carried and approved.
This time, Mr. President, to deliver committee report, again, Mr. President, to deliver committee report number 79, 2020. Again, can you do acknowledge Honorable Wahid B. Ranain?
Again, Honorable Wahid Ranain is now recognized.
Thank you again, Mr. President, Mr. Floor Leader. I move to pass a resolution adopting Committee Report Number 79, Series of 2020, Committee on Finance and Appropriation regarding request for augmentation of appropriation in the amount of 200,000 pesos under the City Mayor's Office, support to alternative learning system. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Wahid Ranain, seconded by Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Dohali.
Period of debate and appellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Again, nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
I move to close the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now closed. Any comments, amendments, objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby duly carried and approved.
This time, Mr. President, to deliver Committee Report Number 9, Series 2020, Committee on Good Government, Public Ethics, and Accountabilities. Please do acknowledge the distinguished gentleman from Barangay New Visayas, the great Dison Namuwag.
Honorable Dison Namog, MBA, is now recognized.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President and the Majority Floor Leader. With these representations, I would like to move for adoption Committee Report Number 9, Series of 2020, Committee on Good Government, Public Ethics, and Accountabilities, relating to the letter from Jose R. Lampagos, our City Mayor, dated July 8, 2020, requesting for authority to transfer without cost the property, plant, and equipment, PPE, to the following national government agencies. Number 1, Philippine National Police, Regional Trial Court Branch 4, Regional Trial Court Branch 34, Municipal Trial Court, Panabo City, Regional Trial Court Office of the Clerk of Court, Panabo City Parole and Provision Office, Philippine Coast Guard, Bureau of Internal Revenue, Prosecutor's Office, and Public Attorney's Office in the City of Panabo. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Dison Namog, duly seconded by Honorable Ambasan. Any comments? Honorable Bangoy?
Period of debate and appellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Again, nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
Period of amendment be closed, Mr. President.
Period of amendment is now closed. Are there any comments, amendments, objection? Hearing none, the motion for adopting Committee Report Number 9, Series 2020, Committee on Good Government, Public Ethics and Accountabilities regarding letter from Jose R. Lampagos, City Mayor, dated July 8, 2020, requesting for the authority to transfer without cost the property, plant, and equipment for the following national government agencies, namely Philippine National Police, Panabo City, Regional Trial Court, Branch 4, Panabo City, Regional Trial Court, Branch 34, Panabo City, Municipal Trial Court in Cities, Panabo City, Regional Trial Court, Office of the Clerk of Court, Panabo City, Parole and Probation Office, Panabo City, Philippine Coast Guard, Panabo City, Bureau of Internal Revenue, Panabo City, Prosecutor's Office, Panabo City, Public Attorney's Office, Panabo City, is hereby duly carried and approved.
To deliver committee reports number 54, series 2020. This time, Mr. President, kindly do acknowledge Honorable Divana Humamil.
Honorable Dibuna Humamil is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer, and to our Majority Floor Leader. Together and in behalf of Honorable Jano Paulo Gentiles, I would like to pass a resolution adopting Committee Report Number 54, Series 2020, on the Joint Committees on Laws, Justice, and Human Rights, Fact-Finding and Investigation, and Ways and Means and Government Enterprises regarding the letter from Attorney Ronnie A. Bulotano, Counsel Pro Bono of Panabo Premium Market Fish Retailers Association, dated June 22, 2020, requesting the City Legislative Council through Honorables Emmanuel G. Pamisaran, Attorney Devona H. Humamil, and Jano P. Gentiles to consider and peruse on the concerns of the said association on the legitimacy and the legality of the operation of the Green Market Laboratory of ACES Polytechnic College. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Dibuna Humamil, duly seconded by Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Matutino.
Period of debate interpellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now.
This time, Mr. President, please kindly do acknowledge Honorable Renante Bangkoy.
Honorable Bangoy is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask the proponent just a clarification of the minutes of the committee meeting? This is referring to the licensing section, which is Attorney Bulotano raised the concern regarding the parameters involved in the permit issuance. But since she is only a representative, not in a fully capacity to answer all the questions, as wrap up, the chair stated that the MOA will be discussed in another venue. And it was also stated here that the school have submitted requirements, but it's different now because they have already opened the market to the public. The copy of the recommendation will be given to the concerned offices and to the petitioners. Actually, for me, may I ask just a clarification to our chair? Since this part of the committee minutes of the committee is hang siya because there are the recommendation is to give copy in all offices, no? And what is the answer of the executive department on this matter, since this is referring to the permit being issued by our executive? Like Bulotano raised the concern regarding the parameters involved in the permit issuance, meaning Bulotano was raised the questions in the parameters involved in the permit issuance, but the committee recommends to give copy to all concerned offices and to the petitioners in the requirements of the issuance of the permit. So I'll be asking this for just to clarify, because for me it is a hanging recommendation of the chair. Kumbaga nahanging ni siya pag-ayo kung unsa ba gyud ang how to resolve these issues regarding the question being raised by Attorney Bulutano.
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I ask for a direct question from our Honorable Banggoy?
Go ahead, Honorable Bangoy.
No.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
The question is what would be the exact recommendation that being referred by Attorney Bulutano on the parameters involved, since the recommendation being asked by the chair is to give only the copies in all concerned offices and to the petitioners. So unsa ang ato ang nahimo na tubag wala magud siya nahang ang kuan ba ang istorya ani, then what would be the continuation of this matter?
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
May I know which paper you are referring to,
I'll
Honorable
be
Banggoy?
referring to the parameters being asked by issuing permit of issuance.
Go
I
ahead,
think
Honorable
this
Humamil.
is based on the recommended business permit issued by our executive.
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
Thank you for that, Honorable Banggoy. This council, like I said, can only do so much, and we can only we were just mandated to investigate. So it is only the business licensing office who can recommend to the executive the proper and appropriate action for the ACES having no legislative franchise and operating as a green market. So that is why it seems to be hanging, but under the new business, the said question will be answered again, Mr. Chair.
That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Honorable Bangoy. Honorable Inad.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I
go
move
ahead.
to close the period of debate and interpellation and open. Mr. Chair, another interpellation. Kindly do acknowledge Honorable Wahid Ranain.
Honorable Ranahin is now recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. President and Mr. Floor Leader. Mr. President, just like to ask the proponent, paki-open daw sa iyahang report. Like request as one on the recommendation, or I mean the findings made by the different offices, especially the licensing section, specifically on the legislative franchise. Can the committee make it to the point, although as I have perused the resolution that will be passed later on the new business, the emphasis of the green market laboratory operating without a franchise, can we make an emphasis on that as part of the gross violation of their operation, having, or they are operating without securing a legislative franchise from this council, although they have complied with the necessary requirements under the environment, under the building section, or building code, but the fact that they are operating without the legislative franchise, can we make an emphasis on that? I know it is well taken by the committee, but as part of my recommendation, as a certain findings on the report. That will be all, Mr. President.
Honorable Humamil.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Uh,
I'm sorry, but I need to ask again, Honorable Ranain, what his recommendation is. I'm sorry for that.
I think,
Go ahead, Honorable
Can I-
Ranain.
as an observation to the uh, joint committees, this representation would like to suggest to the joint committees to make it as a certain findings in their committee report, the fact that the Green Market Laboratory is operating without a legislative franchise, despite of having them or them complying with the certain provisions under the environment, under the building code, but the fact that they are operating without the legislative franchise can we make it as a certain part of the findings on the committee report being passed by the joint committee.
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chair. That's well taken. We can do the amendment on the amendment portion, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, can I do acknowledge Honorable Gregory U. Duhali?
Honorable Duhali, you recognize.
All right, Honorable Presiding Officer, thank you, Honorable Floor Leader. Honorable Presiding Officer, as what I have heard during the deliberation, the contention of the Honorable Y. Ranain is very appropriate. Why? Because I found this legislative measure as the legislative franchise of having a public market or doing such business is in terms a matter of condition sine qua non, one of the processes. So I go with the contention of Honorable Ronain that this should be included in one of the findings. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Duhali.
This time, Mr. President, please do acknowledge Honorable Komisaran.
Honorable Pamisaran is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and to our Majority Floor Leader. Although I am part of the Joint Committee as Chairman on Committee on Education, Culture, and Scouting, but again, as I peruse the supporting documents presented by the Joint Committee, especially on the report submitted by the City Planning and Development Office based on their actual inspection conducted, no? And allow me again to emphasize that on the actual construction and current operation, the Market Laboratory of ACES Polytechnic is not compliant with the necessary requirements provided for by the law, since setback requirements were not followed and several buildings constructed don't have approved locational clearance, among others. And it was also mentioned a while ago by the intention of Honorable Wahid Ranain, and it was emphasized that it needs a legislative franchise, no, for that matter. With that presentation, Mr. Chair, actually the recommendation of the joint committee was to take appropriate action on the level of the executive department. So may I know from the proponent if what will be the appropriate action should be the executive department will be undertaking, no? Due to the violation and requirement that were not complied by the Green Market Laboratory, may I know this? May I know the wisdom? May I call the attention of my colleagues? May I know the wisdom of everybody if we will wait as to the response of the executive committee as to the appropriate action. What I'm trying to convey, Mr. Chair, is what will be the appropriate action. Because for me, now, it was enlightened in my mind that it is necessary that this honorable chamber will recommend an appropriate action to the executive department. For that, the rule of the executive is to implement, whether to implement or not, the recommendation coming from this honorable chamber. May I know from the proponent if she is amenable, if I would recommend that the recommendation will be the temporary closure or suspension of the operation while waiting on the process of complying all the requirements. That's only my suggestion, but if the body will not allow, I will not force to do that. But it seems it is a we have our prerogative and discretion also as to recommend, because I would like to be enlightened also as to the proponent if what will be the appropriate action. It may be temporary closure or what will be. May I know first from the proponent if she is amenable as to my recommendation, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Pamisaran. Honorable Humamil, you are recognized.
Thank you for that, Honorable Pamisaran. To be candid, I am not in the position to speak in behalf of the executive department, and I am incompetent to say the appropriate action that must be taken by the executive, because that is actually now their job to implement what is the result of this council. So that is the reason why the recommendation is limits them to take appropriate action for whatever rules or regulations or whatever step they may take to answer our to comply with our recommendation, Mr. Chair. So to be candid, I am not in a position to answer in behalf of the executive department.
Thank you, Honorable Humamil.
Mr. Chair, since I'm on the process to continue my follow-up question, may I allow, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Honorable Pamisaran.
Yes, I go with I am within the idea of course, it is the prerogative and discretion of the executive department as to what appropriate action may take, no? But may I ask the wisdom of this honorable chamber, this august body, because this is only a matter of a recommendation. If it is applicable to recommend this august body, this HCT Council, for a temporary closure, temporary only, temporary closure, suspension, while waiting because they are still on the process of complying all the requirements as been required. So may I ask if the body, some of my colleagues, no, to stand also to give their comments with regards to my proposal, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Pamisaran.
Mr. President, kindly acknowledge this humble representation.
Honorable Ednad, you are recognized.
I would like to manifest, Mr. President, in connection to the previous statement of proposal of Honorable Pamisaran for the proposing for the issuance of TRO or cease and desist order of the green market. Let it be emphasized, Mr. President, that the issuance of cease and desist order or TRO by the Sanggunian, we are not empowered to issue that, Mr. President. That is ultra vires. That is beyond the scope of the power of the Sanggunian. That's why the recommendation of the competent chairman is to recommend the findings to the executive department. Now, I would like to direct my question, Mr. President, to the chairman.
Go ahead, Honorable Ednad.
Will the proponent affirm and confirm before this august body that green market is actually operating for commercial purposes?
May I, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
Based on our ocular inspection and the reports submitted by the business licensing offer, which they attested, Mr. Chair, I'm quoting the business licensing that the green market laboratory is operating as a market for commercial purposes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Humamil.
And will the proponent confirm and affirm before this august body that the market operation is not one of the purpose of ACES Polytechnic College.
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
Based on the Articles of Incorporation of ACES Polytechnic College, together with the report of the Business Licensing Office, may I quote you again, Honorable Inad?
Will you confirm and affirm that market operation is not one of the purpose stated under the Articles of Incorporation of ACES Polytechnic College?
Yes, market operation is not one of the purposes of ACES Polytechnic under their AOI, Mr. Chair.
And finally, Mr. President, will the proponent confirm and affirm before this August body that appropriate action is purely executive in nature?
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
I affirm and confirm that, Mr. Chair.
No further question, Mr. President.
Honorable Duhali, you are recognized.
All right, Honorable Presiding Officer and Honorable Floor Leader. Honorable Presiding Officer, one of the committee meetings that we have, and we also invited Mr. De La Peña, and I asked question regarding the visiting team, the one who inspect the green market, and I asked one of the question there that the stall holders, and I confirmed to the visiting agencies that only the ACES Polytechnic has the business permit to operate, but not the stall holders. And one of the what we call this one of their focal interest there is to approve such market laboratory in a delusion that we have this non-profit orientation. So I am now perplexed what really transpired during this deliberation. But Mr. President, as a while ago, the Honorable Pamisaran had said that his recommendation is to have this temporary suspension of the operation, and also vis-a-vis with the contention of Honorable Humamil that we cannot act as what the local executive can do. I think the contention of Honorable Pamisaran is just a mere recommendation to the local chief executive. It's just not just a encroaching the action of the local chief executive, but as a mere suggestion or recommendation. If the honorable local chief executive will do what our recommendation will, then that's it, Honorable Presiding Officer. That's all.
Thank you, Honorable Duhali.
I think
I
How
did not
about...
hear any question, Mr. Chair, so it's okay. I will not
Okay.
answer. It was just a manifestation.
Okay. Honorable Inad, you are now recognized.
sorry.
Ay,
I think we are done with the debate and interpellation, Mr. President. So I move to open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
Mr. Floor Leader.
Mr. President, kindly.
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. There was a manifestation submitted by Honorable Wahid Ranain earlier concerning the emphasis that green market is operating without a legislative franchise. So may I amend the committee report, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May we include it as letter G, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
May we include that since the green market laboratory is operating for commercial purposes, based on the report of business permits and licensing section, comma, the said green market is operating without a legislative franchise. May I ask for any inclusion from our Honorable Waidenain?
Go ahead, Honorable Wahid Ranain.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to the proponent. Uh, the findings of the joint committees is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. On the item number 4, which has a sub topic of from A to F, can I just request the proponent if she will be willing that would be the amendment would be on the item number 5. Considering that the item number 4 were consolidation of reports by the different offices. Now the item number 5 would be the observation of the joint committees. So the amendment would be numbered as item number 5. That would be all, Mr.
There-
President.
Go ahead, Honorable Lumamil.
Very well, Mr. Presiding Officer. Can we put that to number 5 again? That since the Green Market Laboratory is operating for commercial purposes based on the report of the Business Permits and Licensing section, the said Green Market is operating without a legislative franchise. May I ask if our Honorable Renain is amenable to that? Thank you, Mr. Chair. That would be all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Lumamil. Honorable Inad, you are now recognized.
All right, Mr. President. Kindly do acknowledge, Mr. President, Honorable Catalan.
Honorable Catalan is now recognized.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and good morning to the Majority Floor Leader and to the rest of the members of the Council. Would like to be clarified. How are we going to articulate the findings made by Honorable, suggested by Honorable Ranain? Can you please reiterate it, Madam Chair?
May I ask for a recess, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Honorable Lumamil.
Sadaw. Recess, Mr.
1
Chair.
minute recess. Session resume. Go ahead, Honorable Inad.
Again, Mr. President, we are now done with the
Amendment.
period of amendment. So I move to close the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now closed. Any objections? Hearing none. The motion adopting committee report number 54, series 2020. Joint committees on laws, justice and human rights, fact-finding and investigation, and ways and means and government enterprises. Regarding letter from Attorney Ronnie A. Bulutano, Council Pro Bono of Panabo Premium Market Fish Retailers Association, dated June 22, 2020, requesting the City Legislative Council through Honorable Emmanuel G. Pamisaran, Attorney Dibuna H. Sumamel, and Honorable Jano Paulo P. Hintelis to consider the appearance of the concerns of the said association on the legitimacy and the legality of the operation of the Green Market Laboratory of ISIS Polytechnic College with amendments is hereby duly carried and approved.
At this juncture, Mr. President, please allow this humble representation to pass a resolution adopting the agenda to the 33rd regular session of the 8th City Council with one inclusion. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Inad, duly seconded by Honorable Hintilis. Any comments, amendments, objection? Adopting our agenda for today is hereby duly carried and approved.
To legislate resolution number 205 series 2020, kindly do acknowledge Honorable Wahid B. Ranain.
Honorable Wahid Ranain is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. I move to pass an omnibus resolution declaring the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Katipunan, Panabo City, amounting to 471,043 pesos and 10 centavos. Declaring the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Little Panay, Panabo City, amounting to 358,000 pesos. Declaring the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay San Nicolas, Panabo City, amounting to 465,457 pesos and 99 centavos. Declaring the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay Dato Abdul, Panabo City, amounting to 763,958 pesos and 53 centavos. And declaring the 2020 annual budget of Sangguniang Kabataan of Barangay New Visayas, Panabo City, amounting to 2,732,436 pesos and 14 centavos, operative in its entirety. I so move, Mr. President.
Has been moved by Honorable Ranain, duly seconded by Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Karisma, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Ambasan, and Honorable Hintilis.
Period of debate appellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
Period of amendment be closed, Mr. President.
Period of amendment is now closed. Are there any, those who are in favor of resolutions number 205, resolution number 26, resolution number 27, resolution number 28, and resolution number 29, please acknowledge on our Express Secretariat for the voting. Go ahead, Honorable. Go ahead, Lord Lindralio.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Voting in support to the motion, we have Honorable Duhali, Honorable Intiles, Honorable Attorney Enad, Honorable Namuag, Honorable Datuambasan, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Karisma, Honorable Catalan, Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Attorney Humamil, Honorable Pamisaran, and of course the proponent, Honorable Ranain. All voted favorably, Mr. President.
Therefore, resolution number 205, 206, 207, 208, and 209 is hereby duly carried and approved.
To legislate proposed resolution number 210 series 2020. Again, Mr. President, kindly do acknowledge Honorable Wahid B. Ranain.
Honorable Ranain is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to pass a resolution declaring the appropriation ordinance number 1, series of 2020, embodying the calendar year 2020 supplemental budget number 1 of Barangay Kauswagan, Panabo City, amounting to 63,900 pesos, operative in its entirety. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Wahid Ranain, seconded by Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Matutino, and Honorable Hintilis.
Period of debate appellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
Period of amendment be closed, Mr. President.
Period of amendment is now closed. Those who are in favor of this resolution, please raise your right hand. Ma'am Lorlin Biralia is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Favoring the motion are the following: Honorable Namuag, Honorable Datuambasan, Honorable Hintiles, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Attorney Humamil, Honorable Attorney Enad, Honorable Duhali, Honorable Karisma, Honorable Catalan, Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Pamisaran, and Honorable Ranain. Again, all voted favorably, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Biralio. Again, resolution number 10, number 210, series 2020, declaring the appropriation ordinance number 01 series of 2020, embodying calendar year 2020 supplemental budget of number 1 of Barangay Kauswagan, Panabo City, amounting to 63,900 is hereby duly carried and approved.
To legislate proposed resolution number 211 series 2020, again, can I do acknowledge Honorable Wahid B. Ranain.
Again, Honorable Wahid Ranain is now recognized.
Thank you again, Mr. President and Mr. Floor Leader. I move to pass a resolution declaring the appropriation ordinance number 1, series of 2019, embodying the calendar year 2020 annual budget of Barangay New Malitbog, Panabo City, amounting to 6,197,455 pesos, operative in its entirety. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Wahid Ranain, duly seconded by Honorable Ambasan, Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Batutino.
Period of debate and interpellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Kindly do acknowledge this humble representation, Mr. President.
Go ahead, Honorable Enad.
May I ask from the proponents, Mr. President, for the consumption of the general public, what is the essence of declaring operative the appropriation ordinance of a barangay, Mr. President?
Go ahead, Honorable Ranain.
Thank you again, Mr. President. The function of the Sangguniang Panlungsod is to declare the savings, the annual supplemental and augmentation of barangay budget, Mr. President, considering that we are the Sangguniang Panlungsod as the reviewing power over the barangay. That's why as part of the requirement, once they have complied with all the necessary budget allocations required by the law, the Sangguniang Panlungsod through the Committee on Finance and Appropriation declare all their appropriation operative, Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Go ahead, Honorable Enad.
in the event that a barangay ordinance is not submitted for review before this August body, what is the effect of the same or appropriation ordinance?
Go ahead, Honorable Ranain.
Thank you, Mr. President. The effect of such budget being not submitted to this Sangguniang Panlungsod, it is a non-functional budget of such barangay, considering that they have not complied their obligation on submitting to this Sangguniang Panlungsod their appropriation ordinances or the annual budget.
No,
Go ahead, Honorable Enad.
no further question, Mr. President. I move, we are done with the debate interpellation, so I move to open the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now open.
I move to close the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now closed. Are those who are in favor of the proposed resolution number 211 series 2020? Madam Secretary, please recognize.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Supporting the motion are the following: Honorable Namuag, Honorable Hintiles, Honorable Dato Ambasan, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Duhali, Honorable Attorney Enad, Honorable Carisma, Honorable Catalan, Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Attorney Humamil, Honorable Pamisaran, and of course the proponent, Honorable Ranain. Again, all voted favorably, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Beralio. Therefore, proposed resolution number 211 series 2020 declaring the appropriation ordinance number 1 series of 2020 embodying the calendar year 2020 annual budget of Barangay New Malitbog, Panabo City amounting to 6,197,455 pesos operative in its entirety is hereby duly carried and approved.
To legislate proposed resolution number 212 series 2020. This time, Mr. President, kindly do acknowledge Honorable Dison Namuag.
Honorable Dison Namuag is now recognized.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President. I would like to pass a resolution number 21. Resolution number 212, series 2020, authorizing the City Mayor, Honorable Jose R. Lampagos, to transfer without cost the city's properties and equipment to the 7 national government agencies, namely Regional Trial Court, Branch 34, Regional Trial Court, Office of the Clerk of Court, Office of the Parole and Probation Office, Philippine Coast Guard, Bureau of Internal Revenue, City Prosecutor's Office, and Public Attorney's Office. All of these are in Panabo City offices. I so move, Mr. President.
Just been moved by Honorable Duhali. Ay, Honorable Damwag. It's been moved by Honorable, I will stand corrected. It's been moved by Honorable Damwag. Duly seconded by Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Duhali, Honorable Hintilis, and Honorable Ambasan.
Period of debate, appellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
Period of amendment be closed, Mr. President.
Period of amendment is now closed. Those are in favor of the proposed resolution number 212, series 2020. Madam Secretary, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Favoring the motion, we have Honorable Attorney Enad, Honorable Inteles, Honorable Dato Ambasan, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Karisma, Honorable Catalan, Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Hintiles, Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Attorney Humamil, Honorable Ranain, in favor, Honorable Duhali, and I already mentioned Honorable Attorney Enad, and of course the proponent, Honorable Namuak. Again, all voted favorably, Mr. President.
Therefore, proposed resolution number 212, series 2020, authorizing the City Mayor, Honorable Lucy Relapagos, to transfer without cost the city property, plant and equipment to the 7 national government agencies, namely Regional Trial Court, Branch 34, Panabo City, Regional Trial Court, Office of the Clerk of Court, Panabo City, Parole and Probation Office, Panabo City, Philippine Coast Guard, Panabo City, Bureau of Internal Revenue, Panabo City, City Prosecutor's Office, Panabo City, and Public Attorney's Office, Panabo City, is hereby duly carried and approved.
To legislate proposed resolution number 213 series 2020. This time, Mr. President, kindly do acknowledge the beautiful attorney, Divona Humamil.
Honorable Dibona Humamil is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer and to our Majority Floor Leader. I would like to pass a resolution recommending the City Planning and Development Office, City Engineer's Office, and Bureau of Fire and Protection to ensure Green Market Laboratories compliance to the existing laws and regulations, and for business permits and licensing section to take appropriate action as to the violations and requirements that were not complied with by the Green Market Laboratory. I so move, Mr. President.
So it's been moved by Honorable Humamil, duly seconded by Honorable Hintilis, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Pamisaran.
Period of debate, appellation be open, Mr. President.
Honorable Bangoy is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask the proponent, on the articles of incorporation of the ACES institution, is the Green Market Lab should operate as a non-profit?
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
To be candid, Mr. Chair, the articles of incorporation were not presented in the committee hearing. It is actually based from the report of the business permits and licensing section that ACES Polytechnic, that market operation is not one of the purposes of ACES Polytechnic College.
Go ahead, Honorable Bangoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, second, is the we have already approve memorandum of agreement between the ACES, the local government of Panabo, and TESDA. Is the approved memorandum of agreement violates the said provisions on the actual operations of the green market?
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
Uh, can you repeat that, sir?
Okay. We have
Honorable.
already approved in our council the memorandum of agreement between the ACES, our local government, and TESDA. Based on the provision uh, on the approved MOA, in the actual operation, nag-violates ba siya sa operation?
Go
On
ahead,
the
Honorable
provisions?
Humamil.
Thank you for that, Honorable Banggoy. Actually, when the MOA was submitted, there was recognition of the operation of the Green Market Laboratory. However, I will just answer this, Mr. Chair, even though this is already this was already submitted. We decided to amend and revise the MOA based on the purpose of that agreement, and the purpose was to have a partnership, to have the ACES, to have partnership with the local government unit. So the only purpose of that is that we the LGU recognized that ACES is opening up a course on Market Master, and that what they need from the LGU is only what they need from the LGU is to facilitate the graduates of that course, to facilitate employment after taking up the course. So that is the only provision and purpose of the MOA. So besides that, there was no mention of any market laboratory or any operation of some sort. So there is no violation between and inconsistency between the green market operation and the MOA that was submitted by the ACES Polytechnic College.
Go ahead, Honorable Banggoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. For me, Mr. President, since the executive, especially from the Bureau of Fire and some departments, have already manifested some of their findings as that violates the operation on the green market laboratory. I'll be asking to be fair enough ang atong executive to all business establishment in operating and complying all parameters and requirements in giving license to operate. Ang akong ginahangyo lang na there are many businesses na gina-require na to, gina-stricto na to pag-ayo. But on this matter, there were many violations na nahatag na come up sa operation. Ang ako lang hangyo sa executive that this should be fair enough to all businesses, so that this will be not be dili pod ni matularan pod sa uban, no? Ako lang hangyo na sa ato ang kuan. They should be fair enough in giving some license to operate. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Honorable Banggoy. Honorable Inad.
All right.
I did not hear any question, so I cannot answer anything.
Okay, we are done with the debate interpellation, Mr. President. I move to close the period of debate and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
I move to close the period of
Mr.
amendment.
Floor Leader.
Kindly acknowledge the proposal.
Go ahead, Honorable Humamil.
I'd like to manifest the amendment that was earlier mentioned, Mr. Chair, and to include it also in our in the committee report that we will dispose today. To reiterate, the amendment will be included as follows. Under the committee report, we will include number 5, which states that since the green market is operating for commercial purposes based on the report of the Business Permits and Licensing section. The said green market is operating without a legislative franchise. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Humamil. Honorable Inad is now recognized.
I move to close the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now closed. Those who are in favor of the said proposed resolution, please kindly, Madam Secretary, kindly do the counting.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Supporting the motion, we have Honorable Namuag, Honorable Hintiles, Honorable Duhali, Honorable Dato Ambasan, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Karisma, Honorable Attorney Enad, Honorable Catalan, Honorable Ranain, Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Pamisaran, and of course the proponent, Honorable Attorney Humami. Again, all voted favorably, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Therefore, proposed resolution number 213, Series 2020, recommending to the City Planning and Development Office, City Engineers Office, and Bureau of Fire and Protection to ensure Green Market Laboratories compliance to the existing laws and regulations, and for business permits and licensing section to take appropriate action as to the violations and requirements that were not complied by the Green Market Laboratory with amendment is hereby duly carried and approved.
To legislate proposed augmentation ordinance number 29 series 2020. Again, please do acknowledge, Mr. President, Honorable Wahid B. Ranain.
Honorable Wahid Ranain is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to pass an augmentation ordinance authorizing the City Mayor, Jose Relampagos, to augment funds in the amount of 200,000 pesos under the City Mayor's Office, support to alternative learning system. I so move, Mr. President.
So it has been moved by Honorable Wahid Ranain, seconded by Honorable Matutino, Honorable Pamisaran.
Period of debate, appellation be open, Mr. President.
Period of debate and interpellation is now open.
Nobody appears to be interested, so I move for its closure and open the period of amendment.
Period of debate and interpellation is now closed and open the period of amendment.
I move to close the period of amendment.
Period of amendment is now closed. Those who are in favor of the proposed augmentation ordinance number 29, please, Madam Secretary, do the counting.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Voting in support to the augmentation ordinance, we have Honorable Duhali, Honorable Hintiles, Honorable Namuag. Your hands, please. Honorable Matutino, Honorable Attorney Enad, Honorable Karisma, Honorable Catalan, Honorable Attorney Humamil, Honorable Bangoy, Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Dato Ambasan, and of course the proponent, Honorable Ranain. Again, all voted affirmatively, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Therefore, proposed augmentation ordinance number 29, Series 2020, authorizing the City Mayor, Jose Relapagos, to augment funds in the amount of 200,000 pesos under the City Mayor's Office, support to the alternative learning system. It is hereby duly carried and approved.
Mr. President, we have one item under the unassigned business. To legislate proposed resolution number 214 series 2020 as an offshoot to his privileged speech, kindly do acknowledge the great Honorable Gregorio Duhali III.
Honorable Gregorio Duhali III, MPA, MD, MG, is now recognized.
Thank you, Honorable Presiding Officer. At this juncture, a resolution be passed extending heartfelt condolences and sincere sympathy to the bereaved family of the late former City Mayor James Gabriel Gamao, and expressing posthumous commendation for his legacy, integrity, and exemplary performance for excellent public service. I so move, Mr. President.
It has been moved by Honorable Gregorio Duhali, seconded by Honorable Ambasan, Honorable Matutino, Honorable Hintilis, Honorable Damuag, Honorable Catalan, Honorable Ranain, Honorable Bangoy, and Honorable Pamisaran, Honorable Karisma, and Honorable Enad. Unanimously seconded by the members present. So therefore, proposed resolution number 214, Series 2020, extending heartfelt condolences and sincere sympathy to the brave family of the late former City Mayor, James G. Gamo, and expressing posthumous commendation to his legacy, integrity, and exemplary performance for excellent public service is hereby duly carried and approved.
We are now on the announcement portion, Mr. President. This time, kindly acknowledge our Secretary. SP no, ma'am.
Madam,
It's your time, Mr. President.
I don't have time.
Kindly do acknowledge Honorable Wahid Ranain.
I don't have any announcement. Excuse, I stand corrected. Go ahead, Honorable Ranain.
This representation has many announcements. Thank you, Mr. President. Would like to request the presence of the members of the Committee on Finance and Appropriation. We having 4 items on our committee hearing this afternoon, and at 1:30 p.m. the members of the Committee on Housing, Zoning, and Urban Development will be having 1 item committee hearing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Honorable Enad, go ahead.
Since there are no more matters to be discussed, Mr. President, I move to adjourn the 33rd regular session of the 8th City Council dated August, what is the date today? 17, 2020. I so move, Mr. President.
So be moved by Honorable Enad, duly seconded by Honorable Duhali, Honorable Mamil. Any objections from the floor? Therefore, the adjournment is carried and approved. Time is 11:50.